Angus, however you carve it up, Strauss has been a pretty big contributor to the game in modern years at a test level. How would you assess his contribution?
Significant. English cricket wasn't in a great space when he took over. He took over when Kevin Pietersen and Peter Moores were both sacked as captain and coach. And England lost the first test match heavily, got bowled out for 51 to then take that side to win consecutive back-to-back Ashes series, both in England and in Australia, and to take the side to be the #1 side in the world is a significant achievement. But I suppose Strauss's legacy will be that he did things the right way. I think English cricket has been something that is highly regarded and respected throughout the world now, and I think a lot of that's to do with the way that he captained the side, but also the way that he and Andy Flower have prepared the side and the type of cricket that they now play.
And you know him and obviously know him well. He said today, it's just, I can't improve my batting. I've run my race, as he put it. I've done everything I can. There's no point in me taking that further forward. It can't be done. It's time to leave. Is that really all there is to it, in your view?
Yes, yes, there is. I've had a couple of chats with him during the summer, and he's, I think, been contemplating retirement. And as he said there, I think run his race. He's given it his best shot. It is a very tiring job. You're in the public spotlight. Every decision that you make is analysed, it's commented upon on a daily basis. All right, there's a lot of people in other positions in big companies that are pressure and make big decisions, but they're not analysed quite as closely as on a daily basis. And it does take its toll. It does tire you. And he's absolutely thrown himself at this England job for the last 3.5, 4 years, and he's done a fantastic job. And I think he's just felt that he's got very little to give, and he's very proud and pleased with what he's achieved whilst he's been in charge.
Too much cricket?
There's always that question, yes. I think that's why you get split captains now. England has got 3 different captains, or they did before today. Strauss as a test captain, Cook as a one-day captain, and Stuart Broad as a 2020 captain. So, yeah, the schedule is ridiculous, really, and that's why you get players making decisions on what formats they want to play.
Now, you had to feel for him today. He's making the announcement purely on the basis of his own performance, he says, and yet Kevin Pietersen, Kevin Pietersen, Kevin Pietersen came the questions. It is a factor in this, isn't it?
No, I don't believe it is at all. I think to say that it's a factor underestimates the nature of the beast which is Andrew Strauss. He's not the sort of person who ducks issues. If this had happened 2 years ago, when he was sort of on the path to where he wanted to get this side, he would have dealt with it, confronted it and dealt with it. So I don't think he's ducking out of an issue here by retiring in the face of obviously the Kevin Pietersen issue. It's something that he made his mind up that he was considering doing a while ago, and that's it. I believe what he says. Well, I know that what he said is right because I've obviously had discussions with him prior to these recent events taking place.
You've absolutely no doubt then that the Andrew Strauss we saw in public as very much a captain, as you say, leads from the front, could absolutely deal with a big ego, high maintenance player like Kevin Pietersen.
Well, he would try to deal with it. I mean, it's very difficult dealing with some people, and it's not just in cricket, it's in all walks of life. In my position with Middlesex, you get different characters, and some are easier to deal with than others. And I wouldn't say you ever get them entirely perfectly right, but you make the best fist of it that you can. And I mean, I know Kevin Pietersen, the issue seemed to have come to a head in the last week or so, last couple of weeks after these alleged text messages. But I think there's been things going on for quite some time, and I say he'll have been dealing with them along this journey.
Hate to pollute the game with something like football, but it is said in some quarters cricket is getting more and more like football, as you've seen the game from the inside and you see it from the management side now. Is there some truth in that?
Well, judging by some of the cars that players now drive, you'd say that. They're a bit different from the cars that we used to drive when I was playing. No, I mean, there is a lot more money in cricket now than there was even during my career 15 years ago. And that's got to be good because the players are getting well rewarded for doing a job which is entertaining thousands and thousands of people on a regular basis, and they're very, very good at what they do. So nobody begrudges them the money that they're now earning. It's just a question of, with the money, I suppose, comes maybe a feeling of greater power from a player perspective, and maybe they do become a bit harder to deal with. Certainly in the last few years, with more money coming into the game, it seems to have been the players that have been more in control. But I'd say in the last couple of years, actually, with the recession and times being a bit harder, certainly in county cricket anyway, that maybe clubs have grabbed a bit more control because there isn't just a bottomless pit there to keep giving players in the form of salary.
OK, let me bowl you a final googly. What do you think Alistair Cook, new captain, should say to Kevin Pietersen?
I think they wait for Kevin Pietersen. I think Kevin Pietersen's the one that's got some explaining to do, and I don't know. There are two ways of looking at this from Alistair Cook. There is, yes, the chance to maybe reintegrate Kevin Pietersen into the side if Alistair feels they can do that. There's also the opportunity to start off with a real blank piece of paper, with not something that's got a bit of history to it, and try to take the side forward. I think a bigger figure than Alistair Cook will most probably be Andy Flower, the team director, and a lot will depend on how Andy feels about Kevin as they move forward. As ever, interesting times ahead. Angus, thanks very much indeed for your time. Appreciate it. Pleasure.